What PSN level do you aim to reach? Are you aiming high, shooting for the top floor, the Holy Land? Level 999. Is it even something that bothers you? Or is it just a number, unimportant and uninteresting to you as a hunter? I've never really cared about them at all, but as I get closer and closer to PSN level 500, I realise it's a pretty huge landmark. I couldn't find any real figures on the average PlayStation player's PSN level, but looking at my casual friends, only a handful are above 250. Looking at my trophy hunter friends, the numbers vary wildly. So 500 to me is a pretty high point to reach on Mount Platypus, but this coincides with me getting so close to my 200th platinum, it's already giving me Andy Samberg moments just thinking about it. So with two massive milestones about to be smashed in my near future, I took a look back at every landmark on my way here to try and figure out how I should mark them in a way that fits my gaming history and my trophy hunting journey. But my milestones tell a grand tale of action and adventure, of bravery and stupidity as I failed and fell only to rise like a phoenix from the ashes and triumph in the glory of my bloodied enemies. Or they could just be a random mess created by an idiot with absolutely no clue what he was doing. Let's find out. Here are my bizarre trophy hunting milestones. So let's go. First trophy, first bronzer, first PS4 game, Journey into the Night, Batman Arkham Knight. Trophy number 1. As most trophy accounts start, I began mine with a bronzer from the game I bought the PS4 specifically to play. That trilogy finisher, Arkham Knight. The fourth title in this trilogy sees Jason Todd return to terrorize Bruce Wayne and cause chaos in Gotham City, almost a decade ago now. God damn, I'm old. Just like Brucey Boy. First platinum, I'm Batman. Batman, the Telltale series. Trophy number 325. For less than 3 months later, a sick day on the sofa would end up with me accidentally popping my first ever platinum, giving me the hunter's hunger and setting the stage for the next 5 years of my life. Decent Batman story with a fitting comic art aesthetic, different enough from Wolf Among Us to give the Bat, Gotham City and Arkham's assorted cast of antagonists a visual style that feels conformist but identifiable. Really enjoyable game. Plot is as simple as finish the story. Trophy number 500. Not Alone in the Dark. Completed Chapter 4 of Episode 1 of Tales from the Borderlands, a game only half played because despite everyone telling me it's one trophy list for both PS3 and PS4 stacks, every time I load up my PS4 version of the game, it drops a brand new list onto my PSN. Of course, the PS4 stack is delisted now and costs too much physically for me to worry about it, especially as I own the game on Epic, Steam, and PS4 somehow. Feels like it'd be a waste of money just to finish the platinum. If you'd like the lowdown on all of my platinum trophy failures, then check out the video listed in the corner. 10th platinum, Be Greater, Spider-Man. Trophy number 924. Less than 6 months after my accidental trip into the Dark Knight's platinum, I reached double digits and closed in on 1,000 trophies overall. The trophy hunting bug had bitten me, and now I was the platinum's loyal, obedient bitch, dedicating all my time and effort into worshipping her and her alone. It was time for me to be greater. Trophy 1,000. Wolfenstein Youngblood, trigger happy. Bronzer, and I fed her trophy after trophy, growing my own budding pile and rising in both PSN level and PSNP leaderboards. Not by much, but still rising. My millennial trophy was a banger, a pure coincidence, I swear, and I can't say that about many of the milestones remaining on this list, but this one was a pure fluke. A wonderful, fortunate turn of fate. This trophy is earned for firing 100,000 shots. It was absolutely pucker, especially as it was bonfire night. Burn, baby, burn. Fitting, right? 100,000 shots for my 1,000th trophy in a game where rebels fight the victorious Nazis. Yes, I did say victorious Nazis. If you don't know the Wolfenstein plot, where have you been for the last 40 years? Some things are just perfect. Again, not something I can say much more going forward. My elite trophy is Ended the War Machine Threat Goldie for Horizon Zero Dawn. I won't lie, this trophy gave me a little joy. I didn't have a PSNP account at this point, I just used it occasionally for guides. But having elite trophy as a milestone is fucking cool, and that really did make me smile. This is just a shame the trophy name is unimaginative. If you don't know what elite trophy is, then you might just be too young to watch this channel, so you're going to need to go and ask your mummy and daddy for permission. 20th platinum, Destroy All Humans 2, Make War, Not Love. Cryptosporidion has always been a favourite of mine, and getting both his original games platted was a must-do the second I started actively hunting platinum trophies. I wanted to get all my old favourites, and this mission is constantly ongoing. Sometimes it will test me in ways that I do not want to admit on YouTube, and sometimes I rejoice in a job well done. This one was the latter, but returning to destroy all humans 2 with the wonderful Crypto and Anthony Stewart head was an absolute delight. The platinum was fun, enjoyable and easy. It was an absolute blast. Now nearing the end of my freshman year of hunting, I had 20 plats in the bag, and I was about to finish that first 12 months with another big milestone. Trophy number 1500. Control. Crisis Management Silvo. My momentum was carrying me full speed now. I was blitzing through games like never before and earning more shiny digital accolades every day. That momentum gathered pace as my first 12 months came to a close and marked the occasion by earning my 1500th trophy, a Silvo in Jesse Faden's incredible debut. Still one of my favourite games of the last decade, and I am more hyped for the sequel than I am when I see boobs. 30th Platinum, Modern Warfare Remastered, just another day at the office. Trophy number 1932, a game I loved the first time round despite the wall-smashing controller destroying rage that came with it. The game that gave us their kill-death ratio and showed us all exactly which players would kamikaze themselves on a grenade just to earn a few cheap sets of dog tags. But the remaster was a must platinum for me the second I became a trophy hunter, and I proudly beat the FNG and became the best of the best, making my 30th platinum just another day at the office. Trophy 2000. Monopoly. The Master. Family fun led me to my second millennial landmark as I became the master of Monopoly. Believe it or not, I still hadn't even signed up to a PSMP account yet, despite using it increasingly more frequently at the time in my early platinum adventures. But I was now losing that newbie moniker and earning some self-respect within as I beat old demons in the forms of old games by beating their platinums. Not Monopoly though. Monopoly doesn't have a platinum, and it was never played for trophies, so ignore that one I guess, it's completely unimportant. Platinum number 40, Wolfenstein The New Order, Wolfenstein Master. Now onto a franchise we all know I love and all know I failed to finish, but before I reach that appalling disgraceful failure of my life, it is worth noting that I did make The New Order Platinum mine, get it, for number 40. The sublime revival of one of gaming's most important franchises. I could do a whole video on how even the stick figure dungeon crawler debut game in the series pioneered the whole medium and how Wolfenstein 3D changed everything. And I am a big sucker for historical franchises. As a kid of the 80s, I grew up being educated on the legacy of the Atari and the vitality of Pong being played in homes in '72 on the gloriously named Magnavox Odyssey. Yes, that is a real console name from the 70s, and yes, it's the coolest console name I've ever heard. I lived through the transition from penny-pinching arcade machines designed to be as addictive as they are impossible to beat, to similarly impossible to beat cartridge games in glorious 8-bit gorgeousness, because of course the arcade games were ported to the cartridges. So Wolfenstein is a franchise I adore and respect, and that's why I planned to platinum the entire franchise available to me. And I will, for it is my Leben! No, that's not right. Fastest platinum, Slide, Hooah, Trophy 2500, Crisis, I'm Coming Home, Bronzer. When Crisis was first released, it was more infamous for its PC specs, testing requirements, than it was famous for its magnificent gameplay. Stealth shooters have never been better than in Crytek's brilliant trilogy, and we should all rejoice that not only did we get remasters, but that we're getting new installments as well. And none of these are breaking our PCs or our consoles, which bonus, right? Another trophy milestone that could have been a lot cooler had I known about PSMP when I popped it. Could have been a platinum, I could have lined up a load of trophy pops with names that told a joke or a story or something. I could have cherry-picked a trophy with a cool icon or chose a set like my friend Gravity Rush Raven did, but I didn't know about PSMP's milestones and trophy cabinet, so I popped without prepping. But this trophy reminds me of the kid who lost at Heads and Volleys and threw a wobbly instead of taking his rosies and ran off taking the ball with him, crying to his mummy on the phone. Coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. Platinum number 50, trophy number 2697 is Batman, the Arkham Knight. But I made fair amends for that wasted opportunity by ensuring my 50th platinum was not only one I would be proud to be seen by my fellow hunters, but one I would look upon with pride and fondness. So I returned to the dawn of my PS4 journey and went back to Gotham City to take on Arkham Knight. The Arkham games are simply one of my all-time favourite series in gaming and regale us with one of the very best Batman stories ever told. Taking control of the Caped Crusader in such a grounded, tactical and intelligent game forced Bat fans to break out of the casual gamer bracket that they were so used to and actually learn the mechanics of a complex game. In 40 years I have known no other game franchise to lure so many fringe gamers to invest so much because of the sheer quality of everything the game had in it. Truly brilliant. But I was among them. The Arkham games made me want to learn how to play properly. They made me want to improve. They made me want to get good because I wanted to be the Batman. And going back to the game I bought the very console for, no platinum was more perfect than Arkham Knight. It may have took me 50 platinums before I truly did become the Batman, but let's be fair, he's all about prep time. Trophy number 3000 is Ghost Runner, GR Project Complete. 10 plats later, I was finishing off Ghost Runner, another glorious game. An FPS hack and slash that requires as much planning as it does lightning quick reactions, with practically instant reloads and checkpoints so close together that half of them could be removed and those remaining would still be considerably forgiving to those of us dying over and over. One of my favourite new franchises of recent years and one of my all-time favourite platinums, Ghost Runner. Trophy 3500, Lords of the Fallen Platinum, Lords and Judges. And clearly now I was very much addicted to PSMP and my milestones, so much so that every 500th trophy had to be a platinum, and a good one too. So my 3500th trophy was a triumph of a new game genre for me, a genre I had actively avoided, but after this and a few others I now have an ever-growing affinity for. Lords of the Fallen was reportedly a bugged mess, unplayable on console upon its release, but I didn't play that version. I played the many times patched version years later and loved it. Get a lot of hate for loving this game, but it was my first Souls-like. It simply sowed the seed and gave me a new appreciation and love for a genre I'd been too chicken shit to try previously. Platinum 75 and rarest platinum, Worms Elite. A game I only platted for the nostalgia has become my rarest platinum and singular sub 1% rare trophy to date, and may likely remain as such unless I ever get good enough to earn the Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl Platinum. Or if someone can carry me through it, someone maybe with a penchant for side-scroller beat-em-ups and a love of the viewer-skewerverse, such as I do. Worms Battlegrounds is a bit buggy, far harder than the hilarious 4 out of 10 difficulty the deluded crackhead guide writer on PSMP gave it, and is a bit of a brutal grind. But it is worth it not only for the nostalgia, but also because people keep seeing it on my list and assume that 4 out of 10 is legit, and not the guide writer trolling to make the platinum as rare as possible. This is one of a few platinums that I have that are actually really hard to earn. Trophy 4000, Deadpool Platinum. Okay, you can sell the game now. But I didn't sell the game though because it wasn't mine, it was Turtlebat's. He lent it to me and I don't even know if I gave it back. I kind of think he lifted it last time he was here, but I do still have his copy of Spider-Man 2, which I've had pretty much a month after release. So, quick flex for my bestie though, he did plat that within a couple of weeks of the game coming out. Anyway, I must make that up to him somehow. Maybe I should make a video telling the world how flipping wonderful he is and how much I bloody adore him. Too late, check out the video linked in the corner now. Trophy 4500, Titanfall 2 Platinum, Mark of the Advocate. More manipulated milestones incoming. Titanfall 2's Platinum is defined by one thing and one thing alone, the Gauntlet Trophy, which truly saw me become the master. And then Platinum 100 was My Name is Mayo. No, I'm kidding, it was Bloodborne. I never shut up about this, but it was my Centennial Platinum, as I always dreamed it would be, and it solidified me as a trophy hunter on a permanent basis. The game made me shed my fears, accept my fate, and embrace the hunt wholeheartedly. Trophy 5000, Injustice 2 Platinum. My 5000th trophy was arguably the worst grind of my platinum pursuits to date, but will very much remain in my heart as one of my favourite games. Injustice 2 may have an RNG nightmare of a platinum grind that took me over 300 hours, but with a stellar story of DC's most beloved heroes, flipped into almost unrecognisable roles in this infamous Elseworlds tale by Tom Taylor, who is one of my favourite comic book writers by the way. Platinum 125, Make Gilly Proud for Arcadegeddon. The Arcadegeddon Platinum was a joyous ride with my friends and one of the best boosting experiences I've ever had. A fun game that gets a bizarre level of hate on social media for some reason or another, but I spent over 100 hours with it and the game is fine. The company was pretty good as well. Trophy 6000, Serious Sam Collection, Platinum 136, Platinum Strain. insane. There isn't much serious about Sam if we're honest, but there sure is with his platinum. The original trilogy is bunched together with all the DLC and given only one plat. But that didn't make it any less fun or annoying. One of the hardest platinums on my list and one of the buggiest games I've ever played. Not only do manual saves have a tendency to corrupt your save file, but this infects multiple others, and if you try and load up too many of them, then the corruption somehow spreads to your entire stock of saves. So be warned. The games are FPS comedy gold as you travel through time, blow aliens up and get penged by extraterrestrial nasties left, right and centre. Easily an 8 out of 10 difficulty, but an enjoyable difficulty curve if approached the right way. Platinum 150, Gotham Knights, Heir to the Cowl. As I said at Platinum number 50, I had a plan for every 50th plat, and this continued here. My 150th Platinum took some doing, not because it was hard, but because it was just shit. Maybe shit is too critical. It was a lot less good than any Batman-centric title that preceded it. Frankly, Gotham Knights is beneath Arkham for its mechanics, beneath the Telltale series in its story, and beneath Lego Batsy in enjoyment. It excels at nothing, and is only made bearable in co-op with a friend. And the DLC is a buggy pain in the backside that's not worth your time, effort or stress. It's simply a repetitive cycle of free play, and it feels like it. However, there are some good trophies on the way, and it could have been a lot worse. Trophy 7000 was yet another platinum and yet another plat I loved. This time I returned to Jack's shoes to help shape the world I had saved in the first Ghost Runner game. I'd argue that if the first game is a 6 out of 10 difficulty, then its sequel must be a 7 due to having to complete 5 levels without dying, and the roguelite minigame you have to complete in order to accrue every sword for the Chewing the Scenery Goldie. This is the Rogue Runner minigame, and it's a series of short levels with varying objectives and difficulties, made far harder by only giving you the basic moveset to start with and earning randomly generated buffs and upgrades as you complete levels. But Jack does his best Super Mario impression and limits the number of lives you have. Once you've run out, you're out. Game over. This game is a lot of fun, if you're a masochist. The Platinum, brilliant. Platinum 175. Crash Bandicoot. Now, Crash is a game that I was told all trophy hunting YouTubers must have in order to have any legitimacy. Well, I have it, and I earned it on the worst day of my life, and I'll say it's not even in my top 5 toughest plats. Its difficulty is greatly over-embellished. Latest Platinum. Time Splitters Future Perfect. End of an era. Finally, my most recent milestone. The video has been building to this triumphant and monumental moment of my most recent Platinum, which happened to be Time Splitters 3, Future Perfect. Not a hard plat, but a nostalgic one that I adored, and with it I closed the book on my greatest Platinum Trilogy dream to Platinum the whole trilogy. Thank you Free Radical, and I guess Sony. But I love this series so much and dreamt of them being re-released for PlayStation for years, so to see the 3 games all land on PS Plus, each with Platinums, truly made my dreams come true. And that is how I finished this video on the happiest of notes on Time Splitters Platinums. It's perfect. My next milestones will be 8,000 trophies, PSN level 500, and my 200th Platinum. How should I mark my upcoming milestones? You decide. What trophy should be my 800th? What game should take me to level 500? And which Platinum should mark the end of my 2nd century of plats? Drop your suggestions in the comments and be good to each other and yourselves.